Welcome to Miller's Monsters. I'm Mr. Beelzebub, and laying next to me, head up, there she is. Hello. That's Count Luna, and we're going to discuss the movie The Menu that has came out and has been in theaters, I think, about a month now. And before we get started, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, ring the bell. I guess you can set up for notifications to find out when my next video is up. I did not know that till now, so please do that. But before we go on, hold on, wait for it. That's right, warning, there be spoilers ahead. Hold on, gotta hit the button. Magic wand. So The Menu is a black horror comedy, and as of this date, is made about a little over 37 million in the box office, and has garnered a pretty good rating on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. A 90 on Rotten Tomatoes and an 8 on IMDb. It just hasn't, and not a lot of people have gone out to see it. And this is one of the movies that I found interesting earlier in the year, and was one to watch out for. So, of course, I had to go out and see it. And this movie's directed by Mark Mylod, and it's the story about a chef, Ralph Fiennes, Chef Slowik, interesting name, Slowik, who's kind of lost his way, lost his inspiration. He has this fantastic restaurant on an island where, he's invited only a limited number of guests, and it's over $1,000 a plate. And, he wines and dines them. They go out on a boat, have a fabulous meal, and gets sent back. So we joined a story where, one of the groups is going out, and, there's a food critic and a foodie and a has-been star, a regular couple that goes to the restaurant regularly, and some people that are part of the firm that is his, how do they call it, angel investor that has happened to keep the restaurant open in, COVID times. And, Ralph Fiennes, or head chef Slowik, when we first meet him, you can tell he's kind of lost his edge. He never smiles. Very stoic. Slowik, I rhymed. And, they go about their meal, which starts off pretty, normal. With the high-end chefs, everything's about small portions, which, I'm not about small portions, so I don't know if I would like this restaurant or not. But, it's very advanced, the chemist side of it, and, there's snowflakes made of goat milk on the plate, and, little teeny tiny, they were little teeny tiny appetizers on the plate, but everybody's enjoying their first course, which is set up to be a 6-course meal. But this is not going to be a normal meal for Chef Slowik. And soon we learn that there's more going on here than just everybody sharing a fabulous meal together. And but come, I think it was second or third course, he has one of his assistants come up and he explains how he's a great chef, and how he could never aspire to be as good as Chef Slowik, and he shoots himself in front of everybody, and now everybody's like, holy cow, what's going on here? And they're like, is this fake? Is this real? They're not sure. And then in another segment, in one of the meals, he hands out flatbreads or tortillas, and he used a laser printer to print pictures on each one of them, and it's about some sordid thing in the past of all the guests there. and things are getting weirder and weirder. And it is soon after that that we learn his true intention is no one's to survive this meal. And he's lost his passion, as he explains later in the movie, that it's these people that he's gathered here for their last meal and his that has ruined his excitement for cooking. You have the foodie who thinks he knows everything, which really knows nothing, and he puts them to shame by having them cook in front of everybody, and he can't even handle that, and talks him into hanging himself in the back room. And we go on, and a finger gets chopped off here. There's some nice comedy in there, and then he explains why everybody's there, and he brings in how he tells everybody how they destroyed his love for cooking. You had his angel investor that just kept telling him what to do with the menu, and of course you don't tell an artist like Chef Slowick what to do to the menu, so he's the first one that he kills, and that's when everybody knows things are afoot here and aren't going to end well. He basically drowns them in the lake outside for everybody to watch, and then you have the people stealing from his company that are there, that he brought there. You have a food critic who, on one hand, helped get him started by praising his flatbreads or tortillas, and on the other hand, has put so many of his fellow restaurateurs' businesses out by giving them bad reviews, and you can tell she thinks she's God's gift to food, and how she explains how everything and complains about how one of his sauces has broken. And oh, hold on, here we go, she did it again. Hold on, don't go nowhere. Quick. Oh, did I kill you? Look at that, quick on the fly. Oh, here you go. Here, sit down. Okay, where were we? The food critic keeps bringing her the broken sauce just to remind her how bad she is. And then you have the old actor, I like to call her up, that he explains why he is there, and this is probably the best part. And it is a dark comedy, so there were a few laughs in there, but this is probably my favorite part of the whole movie. He explains how this actor was in a movie that wasn't so good, and it was Chef Slowick's only day off the month. This one Sunday he went to go see this movie, and it was so disappointing, and the actor's face was all he could remember of the movie. So when he decided this is the end, he was so disappointed that his day was ruined that he brought this actor here to be dead. And I found that quite amusing and was chuckling out loud in the theater. And then we get to the grand finale of him putting the end to his misery, and basically he dresses everybody up in marshmallows and chocolate hats, and burns everybody like a s'more, the most despicable thing in the culinary world, as he describes it. And what a way to go, so here everybody's dead. But we need to talk about our other lead character, and that's the dark side, that everybody died in this restaurant. Our other lead character in this is Margot, played by Anna Taylor-Joy. And she wasn't supposed to be there. And she is a guest of Tyler, who is our foodie that thinks he knows everything about the, being a chef, and can name how things are done, and owns all the special equipment and such. And him and her are going on the boat and out to have this dinner. Well, throughout the dinner, he treats her quite rudely, and you wouldn't think he would do that to someone that is special to him. But we learn that really she isn't that special to him. She's an escort that he has brought on with him to go to this dinner with him. And the reason behind him hiring an escort to this dinner is because Chef Slowik doesn't serve one person at a table. So he had recently beforehand broken up with his girlfriend, and so hired her so he can still go to the dinner. And we learn again later, before he ends up hanging himself, is that he knew everybody was going to die ahead of time. So he knew he was going to die, yet he still hired this escort, basically killing her, to come to the dinner so he can get to the dinner. Well, Margot's pretty streetwise, and she has a big part in this, where the chef sends her out to get a drum out of the smokehouse that's supposed to be there for a dessert that ends up being the fuel that blows the whole restaurant off the island, basically. And while she's doing this, she takes liberty and enters the chef's house and explores around there and finds some nice news clippings, and she finds an old portrait of him at the very beginning where he's serving a hamburger and smiling. And we haven't seen Slowik smile through this whole thing. So eventually she makes it back to the restaurant, and they're all about to die, and she finally puts two and two together and says, I don't like any of this food right now. And of course he's interested to hear. He asks her why, and she goes, it's not my type of food. He says, well, what can we make you? And she goes, what do you have? And he says, we have anything, da 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 da, back and forth. And she remembers the picture and says, I would like a cheeseburger. Just a normal cheeseburger, none of your fancy tricks or anything. A normal, old-fashioned cheeseburger. And Chef Slowik is touched by this, and decides to grant her wish. And he's like, again, this is some nice bits in this film. He's like, would you like fries with that? She goes, yes. And he's like, crinkle cut or straight or julienne? And she votes for crinkle cut, which is a good choice. And I'm sitting in the theater, I'm like, hell yeah, hamburger, that's the way. I love hamburgers. I would drive miles for hamburgers. Oh, we got Frankenstein and Luna going crazy. Here we go. And I've had every kind of hamburger I can get my hands on. We have another. I really got to get you fitted. No, you're not going down. You're not going down. Just gonna make this whole video 1 minute longer. We're gonna do this one more time. You know what? That's it. I'm going on one of those sites and getting you some new clothes. Here, have a treat. Sit. Good girl. There you go. Leave the nail polish on, please. And so he goes back and makes a beautiful cheeseburger for her, a double-decker, which is always good. There was no lettuce or anything on it, but that's okay. My only flaw with this hamburger is she likes it medium, and for the old devil here, I don't like to see blood running off my hamburger into my bun. So that's my only flaw against his hamburger. So I guess I'd be on his kill list too. But oh well, you like what you like. So kind of like movies, same thing. So he brings it to her. She takes a bite of it and fawns over it and says how delicious it is. But then she says, well, my eyes are bigger than my stomach. Can I get it to go? And you see a smile on Chef Slowik's face for the first time in the movie. And apparently this gesture of letting him feel the joy of cooking one more time, he found some forgiveness, and the fact that she really wasn't supposed to be here. She sets her up with a to-go box and a goodie bag and sends her on her way. And she leaves the restaurant looking back at everybody, and they're like, this is your chance. Judith Light, who's also in this what tells her, waves her on, tells her to go, save yourself, and she goes on this way, on her way, and but alas, even finding the love of making food again for that brief moment wasn't enough for him to not light the match on all our walking s'mores. And they all pretty calmly sit there and take their fate. So I guess they didn't mind too much. I would have been at least storming the gates. And you know, the last film we see is of Margot sitting on a boat enjoying her hamburger, and then that's it. And you know, it's a good movie. It really is. I enjoyed it very much. The She-Devil enjoyed it. She said it was good. Usually she doesn't like the same movies that I like. So that's a thumbs up there. Hey, hey, hey. But yeah, definitely a 3.5 out of 5. And you know what? Yeah, you could rent it at home. You know, I think this is one you don't have to go see at the theaters because there's no big special effects or anything, but it's definitely one I would search out and watch eventually. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, ring that bell, set me up for notifications, do the hokey pokey, whatever you want to do, and I'll talk to you next time.